Okay, so we are back on Canal Street to try the Sazerac. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It reminds me of Tesseract from Loki. But we're gonna do a ride tasting and go from there. I'm pretty excited. Hello, my name is Alfredo, and this is Off the Strip, where I introduce you to places just minutes off the Las Vegas Strip or take you on one of my adventures. If this is your first time to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. More information is listed below. And remember to hit that like button. Here we are at the Sazerac House. We just signed up for a 12 o'clock tour. We're pretty excited. The tours are free and you get a sampling at the end. So if it's good, hopefully we'll grab a bottle, take it back to the hotel and enjoy it later. So we are inside the Sazerac House. It's where they make the rye whiskey. We're about to take a tour. So the rule is if you have your fully vaccinated proof card, which I forgot to bring, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you, like me, forget to bring it, you do have to wear a mask. So I'm pretty excited. They have some cool stuff in here. So I am pretty excited for the tour. Sazerac was founded in the mid-1800s when French pharmacist Antoine Peychaud created the world's first cocktail named the Sazerac cocktail. His cocktail grew popularity in coffee houses in New Orleans, and it has since become the city's official cocktail. The Sazerac House is located right on Canal Street, offering its visitors an interactive experience with samples throughout the tour. Bitters were made from herbal ingredients including roots and tree barks. In the early 1800s, bitters were used for medicinal purposes. Today, it's used to flavor cocktails.
Now, the last one is citrus. It's going to be orange cream citrate. Now, give this a little sniff, a little nose before you try it. Bittermans took the time to, and the result is fantastic. You're welcome. This is intensely zesty and tangy.
I like that one. Although Sazerac originates and headquartered in New Orleans, today its main office is in Louisville, Kentucky, and the Sazerac company is owned by William Goldring and his family. If you've never had a Sazerac cocktail, it's similar to an old-fashioned, but the Sazerac has a brighter flavor.
Congratulations on your first Sazerac. So if you guys were ordering one in a bar, you'd have a very similar setup like this. This is our drinking glass. We're gonna ice it down, set it to the side because we just want to get it nice and cold. In our mixing glass, we're gonna do a sugar cube, 3 or 4 dashes of patience, and we're gonna muddle that down. Then we're gonna add 1.5 ounces of our spirit. So today we're doing the Sazerac Rye. If you're at home and you have a cognac or a brandy you'd like to use, totally appropriate. Might end up with a slightly sweeter cocktail. We're gonna add that in and then add some ice and we're gonna stir. And we're gonna stir for a good 30 seconds. What we wanna do is we wanna soften the body of this drink. All we have right now is sugar and some spirits. So we really wanna let that ice melt into it and soften the body, dilute it a touch. We're gonna set this to the side. This glass should be nice and cold now, so we're gonna empty it out. We're gonna take our herb saint. We're gonna put a little bit in the bottom of the glass and we're gonna roll it around. If you have misters or atomizers at home, it's a perfect way to save a little bit on your product without having to throw some away. So we just spray the herb saint into your glass. It'll be a chilled glass at home. And then we're gonna take our cocktail that's in this glass, we're gonna strain it into our herb saint lined glass. We always wanna serve our Sazerac neat and chilled. And to finish it off, which I think is one of the most important things, is we're gonna give a little lemon peel squeezed right over on top. When you express those oils, it'll float right on top, so every time you nose the cocktail, you get this nice bright citrus aroma.
That's so good. That's really good. It's almost refreshing. So this Sazerac cocktail is pretty good. It reminds me of like an old fashioned, but according to our bartender there, it actually dates back older than an old fashioned. The granddaddy of the old fashioned. It's pretty good.
Just blocks from here, between Royal Street and Exchange Alley. The famous
It's chilled, it's citrusy, it's sweet.
The coffee house in the large
I could drink this. So now we're in the rum experience of the Sazerac House. So I'm not sure if Sazerac makes rum or what, but we're gonna try some rum right now, so I'm pretty excited. So I learned something new today. Our guide here just told us that Sazerac owns Myers Rum, Buffalo Trace, a bunch of other stuff. Even Blanton's, they sort of kind of own, but a Japanese company owns it, but they make it for them. As you know, Blanton's is my favorite. So I learned a lot of new things on this tour.
Drinking. So what I'm serving today is a cocktail called the Jungle Bird. And the Jungle Bird was created in the early 1970s at a Hilton in Singapore. And back then they were creating all of these themed bars throughout the world. So they went ahead and created theirs, and it was a jungle. So they decided to call the cocktail the Jungle Bird. And the Jungle Bird is made with Myers rum, which is a dark rum. It's a blend of 9 different rums, so it's very lovely. And then also, it's made with pineapple and lime and simple syrup. So it was really sweet. And because it was so sweet, they went ahead and added Aperol. So we go ahead and use our own aperitivo for it to kind of cut through that sweetness. So I'm going to go ahead and serve you all. Unfortunately, they tore the hotel down in the early 80s and with the hotel had to build a bigger and better one. So, and you probably know about that in Las Vegas. Whenever they blow something up and all of a sudden a much bigger, larger one shows up. Same kind of concept. And so when they tore it down, the bar, the Jungle, disappeared. And with that also disappeared the cocktail. And so with the Jungle Bird disappearing, it kind of, people forgot about it until the early 90s when guess what showed up on the place? But
So this is the Jungle Bird. Sally just told us the history. So let's try it.
I love your earrings, Daryl. Those are awesome. That's like Dia de los Muertos.
Oh my God. Do you have this in super size? The Sazerac Empire owns more than 450 brands including Myers Rum, Southern Comfort, Buffalo Trace, Corazon Tequila, Fireball, and Goldschlager, just to name a few. So check this out. This is called the Mr. Boston inside Sazerac House. It's kind of a recipe thing. Look, you can do sour, sweet, whatever you want. So we want to do sweet. What kind of liquor do we want? Rum. Let's do whiskey. A sweet whiskey drink. We do that, and gives us a few options. Look, let's do our favorite old fashioned right there. It tells you the recipe, but here's the best part. You can text the recipe to yourself or to anyone that you know. You just do that. You enter your phone number, which I won't do because I don't want y'all to know what my phone number is, okay? And you submit it, and the recipe's texted. Thanks, Mr. Boston.
So Sazerac rye separates it from bourbon is the mash bill. It's majority rye by weight in the mash bill. Minimum 51% rye makes it a rye whiskey. Minimum 51% corn, you can call it a bourbon whiskey if you follow about a half a dozen other requirements. So we unload our grains, about 1,500 pounds total grains per batch. We get them pre-milled, majority rye, corn, and malted barley go in there. Unload the grains, we put it in the cooker, we add water, and we boil it. When you boil these grains, you break them down and release their natural sugars. We don't add any sugar for fermentation. After a good hard boil, we cool it off and we add yeast. There's enough sugar in those grains to take fermentation up to 10% alcohol, effectively making a beer. We call it distiller's beer. Beautiful, bubbly, full of rye, full of flavor, and it's ready for distillation. After 4 days, it's ready to go. We'll pump it into the still. We do a double distillation here, which is pretty typical for American whiskey. The first boil separates the alcohol away from those grains. What we collect is called low wine. It is a 60 proof clear spirit. We'll clean the tank out, recycle some of the grains to feed the next cook. That's a process called sour mashing, very common in whiskey. Makes for a consistent product, makes the yeast healthy and happy, makes for a good fermentation process. We put our low wines in the still and we do a second boil. And this is where we separate the heads, the hearts, and the tails. The first little bit that boils off needs to be separated out. It has byproducts of fermentation that are not safe to drink. So we collect those separately and then we trash those. Once those are gone and it's pure and safe to drink, we collect that up as our high wines, also known as White Dog. What we collect after the boil runs us 140 proof. You can see a little bit right here from last week's distillation. Crystal clear, 140 proof, white Sazerac rye whiskey. We'll grab a sample of that, take it to the lab, verify the purity, it meets all of our specifications, and then we'll adjust it down with pure water to 125 proof. And then we fill a brand new number 4 charred American white oak barrel and ship it up to Kentucky to age. Somewhere about 6 years from now, when it's the right flavor profile, they ship it back to us to bottle. So we load the grains, cook the grains, ferment, double distill, verify purity, and barrel right here at the Sazerac House.
So we just finished our tour of Sazerac House. It's such a great place. It's free to come in, free samples. If you're ever in New Orleans, definitely come to Sazerac House. It's a great experience. I'm taking home with me a bottle of their rye and their vodka that they make in-house here, and of course a couple of souvenirs. So come to Sazerac House when you're in New Orleans.